Hey guys, I am forced to do a follow-up from my last video. If you missed it, that's the one that I talked about a potential next boat that we're going to buy. For those of you who are unaware, we sold our most recent boat back in June of this year. Right now, real time, this is September 2025. And that last video was just to give you guys all heads up as to what kind of boat we might be buying. Again, spoiler alert, it's going to be a Sea Ray. However, in that video, I pointed out that we were considering anything from a 24-footer right up to a 42, which is actually 45 feet overall. But anyways, all of those considerations, doesn't matter what we buy, would be gas powered. Yes, gas powered. And unfortunately, more often than not, when I talk about getting a gas powered boat, it triggers a lot of people, because there are those, oh man, Paul, you gotta get diesel. Diesel boat is so much better, diesel power is so much better and more beneficial than gas for so many reasons. And of course, they all have to list all those reasons. Fair enough. I'm not gonna argue with anybody as to the benefits or the detractions, I should say, of gas versus diesel, but I'm just gonna give you my take on this. Again, if you're not aware, I've been boating since I was a little kid, when I was like 8-9 years old, way back in 1971. So I am coming up on 55 years of boating experience. And yes, they were all on gas-powered boats. But I'm going to also follow up with a little bit more background. I've been a general contractor in construction, residential work for over 35 years. And with that in mind, I have seen my fair share of diesel-powered vehicles, big excavators, dump trucks, on and on and on, as well as, you know, the guys that I've worked with. Now, there was one in particular, because him and I had this conversation way too many times, and he was saying, oh man, you can't smell diesel exhaust anymore, because I have a problem with diesel exhaust smell. It gets into my nostrils, and I really don't like it. His argument has always been the new diesels, you can't smell them. Well, he can't, I can. He's always been a Ford guy, and so he updates his trucks every 3-4 years. And they're the diesel, whatever it is. Before that, he had the Chevy Duramax. But anyways, if he started that truck with this remote control on the job site, with it parked down there on the road, and I was at the house and the windows were open, I knew he started the truck, because I could smell the diesel smell. And I would say, close the freaking door, because that stink is coming in the house. To which you replied, there's no fucking way you can smell that. The truck's out in the street. I can smell it. So there's that. Whatever boat we're going to buy, which I mentioned in the last video, would be of a vintage of the late 1990s or the early 2000s. So let's say a 98 to a probably 2003 model year boat. So even if we were to look at a diesel powered boat in that vintage, it would be an old diesel powered boat, right? And Sea Ray back in those days, they were mostly Caterpillar engines, which, you know, there was a lot of problems with those back then. Fortunately, I think most of those problems have been resolved. And then they transitioned into a Cummins diesel. The problem there is, again, so we're compounding. So if you get anything with a Cummins diesel engine, that would be a newer-ish boat, 2003, 2004. And those boats, those motors are perceived to be as a premium for the people who like boats and like diesel boats. So of course one would pay a premium for those boats, which we're not going to do. What we will be doing, no matter what we do, the next boat has to stay within our budget, and our budget is going to be under that mark of a Cummins powered diesel boat. Do you know what I'm saying? Man, oh man, that lake looks beautiful today. Would be nice to have a boat on it. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about fuel mileage. Most people probably already understand and be aware of the fact that a diesel powered boat is going to be a lot more fuel efficient than a gas powered one. Now that said, would that affect us? No. In our day-to-day boating life of many, many years, it would be for us to realize the cost benefits of going with diesel over gas would be negligible. And I'm going to point back to a discussion that I've had, because this is the top number one question I've gotten over the last 15 plus years of doing this YouTube channel. Paul, what kind of gas mileage did you get with that boat? Well, I'm going to tell you, they're pretty much all the same. For our last 3 boats, right up to the 400 sedan bridge, they all had the exact same engines in those things. They were the twin Mercruiser 7.4 liter blue water engines. All of those boats averaged out over the season, worked out to approximately 1 mile per gallon. So if we were on diesel, we might get 2 miles per gallon. Yay. In 2022, we took our most recent boat, our 370 Sundancer, for a 5.5 week voyage, and that was 400, 500, 600 miles. But through that whole cruise, we went through, I think it was $5,600 worth of gas. So if we had a diesel powered boat, sure, we would save money. Let's say we saved half. I'm going to give you that. Let's say our fuel expense would be half. For us to go to a diesel powered boat to try and save that money, it's a non-starter. And that's why I am troubled by people who are like, oh my God, that's so much money that you're spending on fuel. Yes, it is. Probably too much. However, that cost is only a small portion of what we spend for the whole year just to keep the boat. So between slip fees, like marina fees, haul out, whatever else that we have to do, insurance, upgrades, maintenance, repairs, before even turning the keys at the start of the year, we're going to be $12,000 anyways. All right, every year. So if we're spending $3,000 or $4,000 on fuel, do you see where I'm going with this? And also to buy a similarly equipped boat with diesel engines, because the diesel guys think they're so much better. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I will probably never find out. There's a premium for those boats. So if I'm looking at boat A in gas or boat A with diesel, all things being even, the price difference between those boats will probably be 20% more for a diesel. So for us to gain any advantage on fuel cost over a period of time, it would take us 10 years to recoup that cost, which no. If you're going to do the Great Loop, which we are planning to never do, or if we were, let's say we were in Florida and we were going out in the boat, every day, or going for trips or going to the Bahamas, yes, I would agree diesel would probably be the better option. But also where we are located in the Great Lakes region, it's a lot easier to find gas at fuel docks than it is diesel. You would find in our area, and when I say our area, within 100 miles of us, I would suggest that, well, definitely less than half of the marinas would carry diesel fuel, and probably closer to maybe 30%. All right, so you have to know where the diesel is. So there's that. So the other thing would be maintenance costs. Yes, I understand that with a diesel engine, you don't have to change spark plugs. There's no ignition wires. There's no distributor cap, and so there's that savings. However, I know also, speaking with diesel guys, that just changing oil is fairly expensive, considerably more than it would be on a gas-powered boat. So all things being equal, I don't think there would be any savings overall for the period of time that we would own a boat. And in our case, I think the most length of time that we've ever owned a boat is, I'm going to say 7 seasons, so 6 years, 7 seasons. And probably, if and when we get an next boat, I can't foresee us keeping a boat any longer in length than that. I don't know, let's say 6 to 10 years. So as well, probably, and I know I've said this in the past, the next boat, if and when that time happens, would be our last boat. So yeah, so there's that. So again, I'm not as familiar with working on diesel powered boats as I am gas. I'm willing to get my hands dirty again, as you guys know, if you follow my channel for any length of time. that anything that needs to be done on the boat, whether it needs to be done or not, or I just say that's going to be fixed or upgraded or updated, I do it myself. So given the fact that I really detest the smell of diesel, not only the exhaust, but the diesel fuel, the smell of that oily smell, I know for a fact whatever diesel powered boat one has, given the fact that we would be looking at something that's 25 years old or older, that diesel stink will be inside the boat. Doesn't matter how clean the person is or how good they are with maintenance, that diesel oily smell would be in the boat. The smell of soot would be around the boat, and I would not be able to get past it. Again, if I were ever to get in a problem or into trouble with diesel and I don't know how to fix something, I'm sure I would be able to figure it out. What's my saying? Just get a bigger hammer to fix the problem. But if I got into a situation where I had to get a diesel mechanic, and like I said, diesel fuel is only available in scarce areas around here. So to find a diesel specific mechanic, that's a bit of a stretch as well. And then to find a diesel mechanic to come in to look at the boat, it would be a lot of money. So again, there would be no cost savings to us over the long term. So I'm just going to finish this one up by saying, and you knew this was coming, okay, there's got to be a lot of ifs in this one to work out. I got to wrap this up because I can see this battery is dying. There was a boat that Anchor Girl and I happened to go on a number of years ago. We went down to the Miami Boat Show, the Miami International Boat Show, and back then they had used brokerage boats for sale as well. So just wandering around, we weren't in the market to buy a boat, we were just there, hey. And there was this big, beautiful Sea Ray sedan bridge. It was a 480 sedan bridge, and we had not been aware of that boat up until that point in time because we were never in the market for something like that. So we went on, we took a look at the boat, and we were both very, very impressed with the boat for a number of reasons. It's a big boat. It has great accommodations in the interior. It's got a really big fly bridge which could seat a lot of people. I'm not going to be like a broker saying seats 12 comfortably, but anyways, it's a big boat. It's a nice boat. However, the problem is it's diesel powered. Yeah. So if whatever, and there's a lot of ifs there. There was at least 3 ifs I just heard myself say. A lot of things would have to happen for us to actually buy a boat like that. Like I just said, that boat is in the realm of pricing a lot more than what we would feel comfortable spending right now, okay? Like double pretty much of what we have in mind to spend, all right? But if the planets all aligned and we came across a really good bargain and we said, yes, we're going to pull the trigger and buy a big boat and spend a lot of money, which I can't see us wanting to do at this point in time or even in the coming years, that would be a boat to look at. I don't know. Would we be able to survive the smell? I don't know. But again, at this point in time, our needs and our wants and our desires for a boat that's going to be a probably not. Also, don't look so depressed when you say these things, Paul. But yeah, really nice, really beautiful boat. Yeah, so whatever. And again, they came with Cummins diesel power. Yeah, so there's that. But like I say, that's probably also a never gonna happen type of boat. But anyway, so that is my long, drawn-out, boring story as to why I don't want to get a diesel-powered boat. We don't want to get a diesel-powered boat. Anchor Girl is with me in the same. She's on the same page insofar as doesn't like the smell, doesn't like the stink. There are a number of boating channels that we have watched over the years. Beyond power boats, yes, I'm gonna admit it. We follow a couple of sailboaters on YouTube as well, and yeah, when they show the builds and you can see that diesel going like this, sloshing about, it's just like, oh man, that boat would stink so bad. I know a lot of people can live with it. I don't mind a little bit of gasoline smell in the background. Of course, I don't want it in the bilge or the engine compartment because that smell would just be there all the time. But like I say, Anchor Girl is with me insofar as the diesel stink and the smell, and so we are not fans of it at all. All right, so please, I'm going to ask you, and I'm not going to beg, but I'm going to really, really ask you strongly, please don't suggest that we have to get, the next boat has to be diesel powered, and that next boat is diesel powered because it's so much more efficient and it's cheaper to run, you get a better fuel mileage. I know all that. We are both aware of those pluses on a diesel boat. However, no. The negatives for us far outweigh any potential gains. And so, yeah, that's why we don't want to get a diesel powered boat. And one of the reasons that I'm producing this video is because I'm asked this question so many times. Why don't you get a diesel powered boat? Even if I say to people, please don't tell me we should get a diesel powered boat, I still have those people who insist upon jumping on the keyboard, say, you got to get a diesel powered boat. So I'm doing this video so I can share the link to that next guy, and the guy after him, and the guy after him, the guy after him, who will insist that we have to buy a diesel power boat, and I can just share the link in my reply to their comment and not even have to say anything or get frustrated about it, because yes, it's frustrating to have to say this over and over again. So yeah, that's that, and I know I'm gonna hear about it. I know I'm gonna get a lot of detractors, but whatever. That's it. That's life. And I will look forward to your comments and let me know what you think about the whole situation between gas and diesel. All right? Let me know what, if you got a diesel power boat, fair enough, have at it. If you got a gas power boat and you're thinking of going diesel, tell me why. I'd love to hear from everybody all the time, except for the ones that tell me I have to get a diesel power boat. Please don't do that. Alrighty, that's it for this one. Again, a long one. Paul, you talk too much, but I have a tendency of doing that, as you know. And I will see you on the next one, my friends. Cheers. Hope you have a boat. Happy boating. Cheers. Or most people are aware of the fact that diesel-powered boats, cars, trains, whatever it is, trains, Paul, trains?